Okay, it is time for Vespers. For all of you who are joining us live, for all of you who are joining us virtually, we are so glad that you are here. We're going to go ahead and light our chalice this evening. It is a momentous night here in Vespers land because it is the final night of the Democratic Convention, but also, at least in my home, it looks like we are finally getting the rain that has been teasing us for a couple of weeks now. So we light this chalice, and I invite you to take a deep breath, settle in, and be wherever you are right now. Let go of your day, whether it's ahead of you or behind you. Just be with us here now. Our theme this morning, we are taking our Vespers and other programs and tying them into the worship theme for the week. And this past week, we were talking about the turning and the fourth turning and how that is full of destruction, but also opportunities for changing things anew. And when I was looking at what we could do with Vespers, the goddess Kali kept coming to mind. So we are going to be exploring the energy of Kali, one of the most fierce goddesses in all of the world traditions. And so I invite you to let go of some of our Western culture, European influenced mindsets, and be open to a new way of looking at feminine energy and goddess energy, because Kali will test you. So I invite you to come into Kali's energy as Mary plays. Thank you, Mary. I had given Mary direction of goddess and fierce, dramatic, and nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So I'm going to show you some images of the goddess Kali here, and we're going to talk a little bit about her so that you can understand who she is and just kind of get into the spirit of her. And how is that? Can you see okay? All right, so this is Kali. So Kali is the Hindu goddess of time, doomsday, and death. Her name in Sanskrit means she who is death. Kali's iconography and mythology commonly associate her not only with death, but also of sexuality, of violence, and paradoxically, in later traditions, with motherly love. She is fierce, she is protective, and she is absolutely strong in her femininity. Kali comes from South Asia, very popular in India, and especially in the southern regions in Kashmir, Kerala, Bengal, and in Pakistan. She is most often depicted either black or blue skinned. She is either partially or fully naked. She often has a long, lolling tongue, multiple arms, a skirt or girdle that is made out of human arms, a necklace of decapitated heads, and a decapitated head in one of her hands. There's a perfect image of that with her. And she is often portrayed standing or dancing on her husband, the Lord Shiva, who lays prostrate beneath her. Many of these portrayals depict her sticking out her tongue, which is sometimes said to indicate her surprise and embarrassment at discovering that she was trampling on her husband. So the story of Kali is the most popular one, is that she sprung from the anger of the goddess Durga, because Durga was trying to slay the demon Raktabija, and I am sure that I'm not saying that right, but that name means blood seed. So what was happening is people were trying to slay him, but every time a drop of his blood hit the ground, a new demon would come out. So every time somebody was trying to do it, there would just be created more demons. So until the anger of Durga came out and Kali came forth from that, Kali, with her multiple arms to slay all of the Raktabijas, and Kali would lick up his blood before it could reach the ground so that he would not create more demons. So in this battle, she was killing all of those demons and accidentally killed her husband and was horrified by it. So Kali has had this ancient history, but Kali has also, in modern times, since the late 1900s, feminist scholars and writers, especially in the West and very especially in the United States, have seen Kali as a symbol of feminine empowerment, while members of New Age movements have found theologically and sexually liberating inspiration in her more violent manifestations. Basically, she is fierce. So I want you to just kind of sit in that Kali energy, these visions of nakedness and skulls and tongues and a foot on the husband, and just let yourself be in all of the things that provokes for you. I'm going to stop sharing there. And I'm going to invite you into a time of contemplation with that and thinking about destruction and the turning that we were talking about on Sunday. But then the thing about Kali is that she also was a fierce protector of life. So she did all of this so she could protect humankind from the demon. So we're going to think about both of that. I'm just going to give you some time. questions and think about it. So what in your life right now is being torn down or destroyed or falling apart? And I want you to think about that in the broadest sense. That could be negative. It might not. It might be liberating. So what in your life does Kali embody that is being destroyed? And then what is that destruction making room for? So what in your life comes after the fourth turning? What is being created? What is that destruction and that power creating room for in your life? I invite you into a spirit of prayer, and many people do pray to Kali in Hinduism, and we as UUs put quotes around prayer, but we also put quotes around who or what we might pray to. So I invite you to bring the energy of Kali in us tonight. Goddess Kali, goddess of time and death and destruction, we invite you into our energy and our space tonight. We take this opportunity to not just run away from negative images or negative thoughts, but to look at them in a full way, to turn them upside down, to contemplate it, to think about how it feels in our hearts and in our spirits. Forest fires are terrifying and destructive, and can create death. But on the other side of them, they bring life. And it burns down what is not necessary so that we can have new life. And so does Kali's energy. We invite you to bless the creation, the destruction, and the cycle of creation and the cycle of destruction, understanding that we always are living between the two in some way. Help us to embrace that turning, the darkness, the multiple arms, strong, powerful women, the body, the elements of death, the extremes. Let us create space for where Kali needs to be in our lives, and bless the times where she is not. Amen. And blessed be. Thank you, Mary. Uh, so, one thing that you may not know about me is that this is going to sound bragging, but okay, I'll do it. I was published before I was 21, and my job in college was helping my professor come up with a guide to the manuscripts of W.B. Yeats. Now, when I started this job, I didn't even know who W.B. Yeats was, but I got to actually see his handwriting. It was looking at everything he had handwritten, so from inscriptions to plays to letters and he was very prolific. So started a love of William Butler Yeats. And when I think of turning and when I think of Kali energy, I actually think of one of his most famous poems, which is called The Second Coming. So I'm going to share with you The Second Coming. And I will actually put it on screen share as well. I know for some people, it's good to read the words. So let me. The Second Coming by William Butler Yeats. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming, hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs, while all about it, real shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again, but now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. I think it's such a dramatic poem. I love the things fall apart, the center cannot hold, that line there. And then the idea that we had of this second coming, and Yeats totally changes that and thinks of it kind of like the Sphinx. What rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches towards Bethlehem to be born. What a powerful image, changing the idea that this chaos is not necessarily a baby, but a animal, a very strong, slow approaching, slouching towards Bethlehem to be born. So I am really hoping, I am presenting Kali and Yeats and all of that with the hope that thinking about different ways that cultures have thought about darkness and changing times can give you a different perspective of looking at this. And I just invite you to sit with Kali for a little bit and think of those images. Look her up on Google if you want. There's some fabulous YouTube videos that are way too long that we could look at, but just kind of live in the power and the domination and the strength and the rawness that is Kali. And may she inspire you and give you strength as you go about this week. And know that we are not tiny little victims when it comes to change. We are strong and we are powerful and we are full of sensualness in all of the different ways that that means. So many blessings to you. Much love to you all. I will see you at worship on Sunday, and where we will be celebrating the 100th anniversary of women, what they say, women getting the right to vote. We will talk about who that did not include as well. So amen and blessed be to you all. Many blessings. Thank you, Mary. Bye, all.